Okay, welcome everyone to the celebration of the poetic libretto and its inventor, Marvinlouis Dorsey, who is
Yeah, let's start.
to either my left or right. I'm not sure which. And so we're gonna share some librettos, poetic librettos, and talk about them. And of course, our leadoff man is that idea man himself, Marvinlouis Dorsey. Take it away, sir.
I hope to do this well, only because I don't want to mess up the screen share. Okay, so I want to start out with this is how it feels. Okay, here we go. Here's it. This is how it feels. A Bobby John Press poetic libretto, Marvinlouis. Shut your mouth. Stop talking about what you think. He doesn't know anyone who is dead. So who's going to tell him what it's going to feel like when he leaves the body he's been living in? Yup, this is his muse talking silently out loud. How long has it been? 10, 20, 30, some odd, painful, fucked up years. I will never stop him, his screaming, said muse. He keeps showing me puddles, dirty water ripples. Simple is his thought of not being alive. How else could he stay among those still breathing? A voice in head said to the muse, voice said, when sun goes down, how many rounds will be stuck in pine trees, telephone poles? It's been long sidewalk. No one can stop thinking, like blinking of eyes. Only those wise enough can say how it feels to see. How many steps taken before it's told to him that sin is only what the sinner says it is? Asking himself, are you ready to die? Who knew it had to be something never to be thought? What is bottom bottom when it's so damn hard climbing to a top. Don X, Jerry, one more, or what am I doing? Okay, so here's the second one, because those two are one of two. So this next one will be called A Divine Madness. A Divine Madness, Bobby John Press, Poetic Libretto, Marvinlouis. I thought about writing this poem. I thought it was me expressing myself. Then the muse said, "You still damn fool. What man, woman thinks she knows something they can't see, feel, touch? Love it, hate it, just leave it alone." The muse said, "I am expressing myself, not him." Whatever this is, whatever it may be called, voice said, picture I took from inside of his head. I will call this message from Muse. Muse said, I am that. I say I am. I inspired him to put words onto paper, to take images from frozen. In a time to
Let
take
me lend you my glasses here. Go ahead.
to take images frozen in a time so some will understand that he ain't crazy. He is who I say he is. Muse said, there ain't no damn tomorrow. Yesterday, dead and graves gone. All that can be said is what he feels right now. Bad memories stuck in a marrow of skeletons in my mind, people's closet, making huge deposit bad karma, what I've done, who I've been beside of me. Leaving behind, there is no time as now. Eyes can't, won't hide feelings in my heart, falling apart, lost my mind. God damn, so many times. Ears can't hear, tormented souls screaming. Dreams are only what can be conceived in one mind. What made these goddamn tracks rain down my back? My feet, hands push me back up. As evening comes, I fall. Hey, what's the sound of me?
Feel free to unmute yourselves. I had you muted while he was reading. So what do you got to say for yourself, Marvin?
I want to hear what other
What is
people
this
say.
poetic libretto thing?
Well, the libretto. Okay, here's the libretto.
Now that we've heard a few,
So here's the libretto. It was 2022, no, 2020, while we were going through and what's it called again?
pandemic.
Right. But I kept writing, and I wrote a book called In Black Skin, and then it was an ebook, and then from there I went to smaller and smaller books. I wrote some chapbooks, but then after the chapbook, it was just some things I was trying to express. Um, the best thing about the libretto is where I got to the point where it was going to only be muse, poet. So there's no titles, there's no page numbers, there's no bios, there's no text of the text that's going to be in your libretto. It's muse, poet.
I've got a question for you. In terms of your talk about the muse, talk to us about how you feel about the differences or similarities between the mind and the brain.
You know what? There's no, for me, it's poet and the muse. That's all it is for me. And it's unfortunate that Don threw me in this segment of it, because that's not what I was trying to do. Because what I wanted to say was just that when I got to the point when I knew what the libretto would look like, it was 16 pages, your poems or your pictures or both.
Your first libretto that you read, I really like the juxtaposition of the images with the words, because you talk about, I mean, all of your images show distance in a really appropriate way, I thought.
You know what? Here's the main thing that I'm trying to convey to all the poets is that I did not come up with the idea of the libretto. It was my muse. We got to a point where me and Don Campbell, we knew what we had. He knew what it had, and he said, what will we call this thing? A day later, Kingfisher said libretto. And what's that? And he said it's an Italian word for a small booklet. And then back in the day, if you went to a play, they would give you a libretto. It would give you the music or the text of the play.
That's what I'm familiar with when I heard libretto, because I used to do musical theater many years ago, and we always had our librettos. So I liked that name.
When I first heard the word libretto, I thought it was a new kind of cookie.
Try new poetic librettos now in chocolate peanut butter.
That's right.
All we do is we take out the text or the music of the play, and we put our portrait and our photos in it. That's all we do. And real quickly, because I think I want to move on from me speaking. When I knew what the libretto was, the first thing I wanted to do, I wanted to share it with other poets and see if they could do the same thing.
Well, it has really helped me.
That's
Sure.
all I want.
Patrick had a hand up.
Yeah, I'm loving it. I just in these first 15 minutes or so, I feel like I have a better comprehension of the libretto. I love the idea of no titles, no page numbers, muse, poet, muse. I love that. And you know, it speaks to the tradition of like what I understand literally the libretto historically was in the spirit of Shakespeare when he said all the world's a stage and we're all players. So it's almost like it's a mini play. And the relationship with the muse and the snapshots and the correspondence with picture and poem. Like I feel like now, and the other thing, now I could at least give it a shot. Whereas when I first heard about it, I was confused. But I feel like you modeled it so well, and I love the tradition you've conceived with Kingfisher, and that you guys have this movement. I think it's gonna catch fire. And I want to say, with your reading, Marvinlouis, you've got such a beautiful pace with you and the muse's style of writing, with the muse's style of writing. Like for some people, for me, it may be challenging to read it in that way, but your pace is so coherent and brings it to life in a way. I'm excited to give it a try, but you've really mastered the voice, the intonation, the expression with the words, and it's got a
Substance.
yeah, it's like any word I would use would be a paradox to the theme that of the conception of it, Marvinlouis, but like it's got like form, identity, personality. Those would all contradict the infinite, eternal muse. But it's got that. It's expressing something, substance. Like yeah, the words fail me, but something is, and translation is not the word, but something is conveyed and it moves through the soul. And I love the way you put your voice to what you've written, what you and the muse have executed, brought forth.
I wrote down the word soulful.
Soulful, that'll work.
I
That
wrote
sums
that
up
down.
what I just tried. I like that. Soulful, Jim. I think that captures it.
You know, Patrick, I want you know what you said about what I do. I hope I get to the point where you all understand it's not me.
No, I
It's
get
the
that,
muse.
Marvinlouis,
I
but
know.
I mean, you channel, right? Is it fair to say you channel the muse in a very particular way? Or is it all muse?
Well, you know what? Don told me that. I channel it. I
Yeah, channel.
And
CLS, would you call that Jungian?
I like that. I like that. Jungian.
Young, what?
Young, like
We're
young.
all young, right?
Right.
Oh, Jungian. Yes, yes. I heard onion. I was like,
I wondered
I
if you
don't know
heard
if I would
Funyun.
call it
Well,
that. Though there are many layers. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
something there too.
I love you guys. Thank you. I'm glad
Yeah,
you
but
all.
I think we have to have a channel. I mean, just from a communication perspective, there's a message, but no one receives it without a channel. So it may be all muse, but without you, we don't get to
Right. Exactly.
understand or experience any of it.
Good call.
I
Thank
like
you.
that CLS Sandoval. And anything, and Kingfisher, back me up on this one. Anytime you start something new, you conceive something new, you're going to require of the culture a language that doesn't exist to describe it. So people will still be figuring this out, studying it, and we're happy to be part of its
No one's going to
introduction.
study this.
Come on now.
Oh,
That's what we're
you're
about.
wrong about that.
Right?
You
Hey,
are
this
wrong
libretto's
about
gonna
that.
last, baby. That's why we're here.
That's
why we're
already
here,
started.
Marvinlouis.
The studying has
Okay.
already started.
Hey, Don.
True that,
Hey,
Jim.
hey,
Yes,
Don,
sir.
where are
Yes,
you?
sir.
Hey, let's get some. Let's get some.
Welcome to Poetic Libretto News. All muse, all the time.
It's the evening muse tonight.
Yes, and so
I'm
what
excited.
we're going to do some payback here to thank Marvin for creating the Poetic Libretto. We're going to read our Poetic Librettos to show our appreciation for this invention. And that way Marvin can, relax a little. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Okay,
mute
so
myself.
I'm gonna bring up the screen share of the librettos we have so far. There we go. And I know I can skip page 1 because this is the newest libretto, and it's by Lorelei K, who is not with us at the moment. So strap on, everybody. Here we go. Yeah. We go to page 2. So we have a brand new libretto by last year's winner of the libretto contest, Dean Okamura. And Dean is requested to read his new libretto. Isn't that right, Dean?
Well, this is the one from last year. So,
Uh-oh,
yeah.
I
just
could be
read the
wrong.
one- Yeah, I just read the one from last year. So, yeah,
I
thank you,
posted it
Mark.
twice. I have the one, had it on there already, so now it's on there twice.
Oh my,
I'm
Well,
just checking, because
I forgot to look.
I can fix that, I can fix
You
that.
you can fix anything, Don. You're capable. Okay, anyway, yeah, I'd like to thank Marvinlouis. Always like his style. You cannot imitate him. And sometimes he writes one word on one line, and then there's go to the next line, and there's like a whole universe between the two lines. So it's very challenging. But when he reads it, you kind of get a better idea. So
Yes.
Thank you.
yeah, it's a unique style. I think I couldn't call it anything that
You know,
I've heard before.
Dean, I appreciate that, but I also want to let you know I appreciate you, how you have stepped out of your comfort zone, I think, and made some great librettos. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Yeah. So yeah, this one I read last summer. I mean, last time we had a libretto meeting. And so I'll read a few from here. And the first one I'll start with is Nomad Whispers. So, I really have to make the thing larger. I have to zoom it. There. Okay, now I can see it. All right. Nomad Whispers. Yeah, and yeah, I always think the picture that's above the words it goes with the words. So that's just my concept. So anyway, so you start with silence, and then silence moves faster. You wait, clutching your latest present, walking down the street until you come to a point. Will you drop everything and listen to fresh, free silence? She doesn't know what she is waiting for, looking off into the distant places beyond the horizon. Something appears in the blue sky. Could it be the long-awaited lover? Could it be the long-awaited teacher? Could it be just another fool? An angel passes, colored wings fluttering in the air, blowing sweet, gentle breezes, and that's all we ever felt. So that's the first one. And then I'll read the next one, Man's Drifting. And to preface it, I did sit at a place one time. I was drinking coffee, and I'm looking at people walking through the parking lot, and it looked like this, Man's Drifting. The homeless man pushed his precious cart, a bandana bound to sweating brow. Steps quickened across the parking lot, past rows of cars, autos. He dodged as they drove by. Our planet, among celestial bodies, must seem adrift like the homeless man. All these consequences of unchecked eons of the pleasures of man. Withered leaves scattered in the evil wind. That's that one. I'll skip the next two. And I switched up the style of poetry. One more, skip this one. And I put in two Japanese style poems. One is a tanka. The first one's called Tranquility. A veteran comes with a damaged spirit to the garden. She stops by a peaceful pool under red maple branches. And then the next one is a silent splash haiku. Silent splash, and this roaring breeze wash my stagnant heart. So we'll do the next one. This is a little bit longer, like a narrative, called To Push Us. And this one happened when I was just sitting down. I don't know why. I'm sitting down, I'm eating something, and I saw something happen in the marketplace. So there's something to learn from the elderly man walking with a cane in the slow pace, this quiet determination. He moves untied to the energy of his grandchildren, dancing in their seats, talking, laughing while eating their food. So easy to be enchanted by the children, easier to look away from the old man, ignore the crowds of people rushing around. It's then we see the diversity of people moving at different paces in their life journey in this marketplace. Yet today, the silent cane strikes loud. It strikes us how? It does not thud, not to push him, nor power each step. We imagine the cane has become invisible to him, a level of protection, reestablish balance, avert total collapse. His demeanor shows he accepts his faithful body despite its weaknesses. Today's troubles will be settled. He has advanced to another decade, found peace where worry once reigned, solace in a time of constant chaos. We asked him, what was the greatest lesson that you learned during your lifetime? He stared at the wall, put his hand in his pocket. The elderly man walked without a word, paused, turned, looked toward us, smiled and said, I know nothing. I know nothing. Excuse me, we are going to the park. I have to push my grandkids on the swings. Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you. Yeah, that's my narrative one. And then the last one I'll end with is It Could Have Been. So that's, I think, skip what, there it is. Yeah, you know, this is like, I look at these and I think, a year ago, that's all we could do with AI is draw these things.
You made these images?
Yeah, well, I tell the AI, you know, I want these two people sitting by the lake and
Nice.
looking at the moon site, you know, and stuff like that.
I get it.
Yeah, and you know, now it's like, but I think it's just the nature of things. Like right now, you could say things that are not even possible. Like I want the moon to have 12 legs and be dancing
Right.
around the water, and it
Right.
doesn't. You know, it's that's the AI thing. So, not that I do that, but it's just like this is more the basic thing. So here's how it goes. And I imagine this, probably a lot of people are like this. I saw the poet transfixed along the lakeshore, crescent moon rising, sparkles of gold on the water. It could have been stardust or brilliant poems. So I wish you all that write, you make some brilliant poems. So thank you.
Whoa, look at that.
Jim Babwe.
Hey,
Would you like to read this one, Jim?
sure. Yeah, let me figure out how to do that. I was gonna screen share. But no, that's okay.
You want to do it?
I can do it. Yeah, I can do it. basically, let me explain first.
Did you want to do the screen share or we're going to use this one?
No, let's use this one. This is fine. It looks good to me.
Okay.
I should tell you that I have taken hundreds of pictures of rocks in the sand. Now, you might wonder, well, why the heck would anybody do that? Well, one of the things that I've noticed is that there is line, color, and shape based upon how I select the image. And all of these are unaltered in terms of, well, I haven't arranged the rocks to fit some sort of preconceived notion of what I want it to look like. They are as I found them, and I have left them as they are. And during walks on the beach, if I'm thinking about troubles or hardships or anything like that, these create, walking along the beach and looking at these rocks make me think that, that rock right in the middle, the brown one right there that you're looking at, how long has that been there? How long has it been in the water right there along the shoreline? I don't pick them up. I don't take them home. I leave them as they are. It takes, well, let me just read the first one. How long does it take to make rocks like these? Not quite round, but beautiful. Second one. Gently rolled in sand or heaved against the neighbors. Each remains unique. Multicolored lines, infinite variations, individuals. Degrees of hardness, diamond comparisons, interdependent. Born from cauldron fire, expelled as glowing magma, air and water cooled. Sidewalks, buildings, roads, silent, patient, endurance, strength measured by time. Small slingshot ammo, David's Goliath killer, etched headstone letters. Granite's relatives, variations of the theme. Ahoy hoy. Amalgamated by Earth's factory, no duplications. Gravel, pebbles, stone, known to break metal scissors, paper thinks it wins. Compressed history, enduring through centuries, sneering at our clocks. Sand's wet persistence reduces giant boulders into tiny grains. Transformed into glass, bulletproof or brittle thin, windows made from rock. Cut by diamond saws, slabs, tables, countertops, tiles, flagstones, bookends, weights. Distant lunar mass pushes and pulls our oceans while rolling rocks roll. Revolving around the sun, our big rock races through space and slightly to itself changes shape with quakes and slides and storms. Don't forget explosions, as Earth remains more permanent imperfectly than us. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Marvin, feel free to say whatever you want while I go to the next poetic libretto.
Great. Let's keep on moving. Oh no, it's me again.
I was just making sure that you had your mic on because you're about to read with me in this, our first poetic libretto collaboration. I do believe you're first.
Ooh. Seen from outer space, mankind, one troubled soul. How old history is a long time to be killing each other's selves. mother of all ache, being born.
So basically, I read Marvin's poem and I tried to write something in response. This is a pet phrase I've had in my head for 30 years, so I finally used it. Bones of the biscuit makers. They labored with life. They labored with lungs. They labored with legs. They labored with lust. They labored with longing. They labored with locality. They labored with latitude. They labored with loquaciousness. They labored with levers. They labored with literature. They labored with lines. They labored with lenses. They labored with light. They labored with lynch. They labored with loss. They labored with lethargy. They labored with lateralness. They labored with less. They labored with loneliness. They labored with
My turn, right?
surf.
Don came up with the title, you guys. My inner child has no toys, no hands to hold. My inner child stopped crying long ago. It's now screams. My inner child sits waiting for lessons to be learned. My inner child burned his fingers on purpose so he wouldn't feel the pain.
Born on the wings of death. The baby cries for nourishment. The toddler whines for nourishment. The school child pleads for nourishment. The young lover longs for nourishment. The hard worker toils for nourishment. The retiree waits for nourishment. The ailing body lies for nourishment. The freed spirit changes for nourishment. The effluvial matter moves for nourishment. The form becomes fodder for nourishment. Back to start.
Yep, I was 10 when the not so old man kicked his bucket. Had no trouble hiding tears, there was none to be shed. Yet was 13 when Bobby Ramirez lost his battle with his killer called leukemia. Had no trouble hiding tears. I didn't leave the house for a week. Always looking over my shoulder for two faces. It's funny how a man can't remember. Funny how a kid I can't forget. After decades, they still can't touch my heart.
Growing pain. I was pushing my Tonka Jeep around the living room, thrashed it into the sliding door, elbow blood. I was riding my green bicycle, no hands, looking back at my friends, turned and saw the white pickup. I was flipping over the front of my 10-speed right in the path of the freeway on-ramp, quickly escaped, felt my head. I was body surfing when a 6-foot wave knocked me to the sandy shore. I looked down at my dislocated left kneecap, yelled. I was photographing my beautiful coworker as we strolled around the music center. Then she introduced me to her boyfriend. Oh my God. Oh, you're muted, dude.
You can't stop creativity. Come on, lady. It would be easier to cut my damn fingers off, break both my legs, watch me crawl, remove skin, all the skin from my bones. She can't stop the muse. For sure, she is confused. Crazy lady forcing me to jump this damn fence. Too old for this shit. Stop creativity? She crazy?
Creation. I drew some pictures of Fireball XL5 when I was 3. As a preteen, I typed 2 years of my own personal top 40 lists. 17, I started composing lyrics, then poems, and I haven't stopped. In my 19th summer, I convinced my girlfriend to keep our baby, marry me. Again, at 32, I implored my future third wife to let our daughter be born. Now, I still make posy, burn CDs, and do push-ups over my 6th spouse as often as possible.
Following drops. Some would call it spattered. Most would be unaware what 10.5 points of blood looks like when it's not inside of a human body. Caught me off guard. Hard not to look. One short blade into heart. Sure fire what to start massive hemorrhaging.
The reenactment of the Revolutionary War has begun. Pistol shots repeat into the air. M80 booms nearby scare. Skyrockets sizzle and fizzle below the din on city streets. Safe and sane fireworks add to the low-level smoky haze. Tonight, spool out the water hose, douse those spent charges, go to bed and get under cover. The next morning, gather all the cardboard and plastic, toss everything into the rolled waste bins because in our neighborhood, it happens coincidentally this 248th year to be trash day. Is that a blessing upon this stretch of a United States of America with a Spanish name for a region and a turtle island in which we now reside?
It
Thank
ends
you,
in
Marvin, for
fireworks.
pushing
That's
me
cool.
to write all them damn poems. Yeah.
What did you say, Don? Don, what did you say?
I said, thank you for pushing me to write all these poems. We did this in one day.
Nice.
Huh.
You know, in other states, like if you go through the Midwest, you know, fireworks are illegal in San Diego County here. You know, you're not supposed to have them, not supposed to set them off. There's a big fireworks display along the, you know, the San Diego Bay. And one year, all the fireworks went off at the same time. So the whole show was over in like 5 seconds. You could look it up on YouTube. Just to look up Big Boom Bay, one, you know, quick show. But in other states, there are entire stores full of fireworks. I mean, you can buy any fireworks you could think of. And the stores are located next to the interstate highway. They're bigger than grocery stores full of fireworks.
In
Amazing.
Nevada. Yeah.
I have a question.
Who does?
Dean,
What's that,
Uh,
Dean?
Marvinlouis, is
Yes,
Bobby Ramirez the Bobby John?
yes.
Okay, I see where you got the title of your press.
Yeah, Bobby Ramirez was my best friend when I was 13 years old.
I grew up with 2 Bobby Ramirez's, Bob
And
J. Ramirez and Bob E. Ramirez.
And Dean, he was the healthiest, most exuberant person I ever met in life. And he died of cancer, leukemia.
Yeah.
Hey, Marvin, do me a favor.
Yes.
Would you say the word shit for me real quick?
Shit.
There you go. I like it.
On that happy note, time for a commercial. Did you know that 5 of Marvin's Poetic Librettos are now on YouTube? That's
Oh,
right.
nice.
If you go to the Poetic Librettos website, you can just click on these 5 links and enjoy Marvin's performances.
Nice.
You've seen a couple of them now. And these are not just readings, they're also, like we're doing here. He's sharing the words while he's sharing the words. So it's a full experience.
I have to do that. Good idea.
Yes. And because of last year, Marvin decided, let's do it again this year. So let's have a Poetic Libretto contest again this year. We have a couple of entries already. And the deadline for that contest is October 1st. And of course, the rules are on the Poetic Librettos website on the upper right. And they're also buried at the bottom if
will
you
share
scroll all the
this.
way through. Yeah. But you know what to do. Now, we'd like to enlist Patrick Thomas Jeffries.
Woo woo! I can't wait for this.
This is something new. We're going to try to have Patrick read one of Marvin's librettos, and let's see how it sounds.
Oh, nice.
I've been waiting for this. Thank you, Patrick.
Are you ready, sir?
As ready as I can be. This
Okay.
is what is called the cold reading, as we call them, PPW, but I've got all the heat and warmth and the momentum of everybody who has participated in libretto, and I'm really going to give it my best. But I want to make sure I understand the title. It's corporeal.
Because the word is corporeal.
Yeah, corporeal. Okay.
Yeah. And then
Corporeal.
Corporeal.
Yeah.
Corporeal.
Which means of this world.
I'm gonna look it up and get. I'm usually good with vocabulary, but I'm gonna look it up after this. Okay, well, I'm ready. Let's begin. Here we start with this. Can I just see the picture real quick, Don? Real quick. Just, okay. Start. Finding steps taken this way to be who they say shouldn't be. It's fake trees drinking too much water. I'm trying to understand words written, spoken so long ago. There's music playing in the background about a Holy Ghost. I don't mind back doors. It's where I'm meant to be. Easier to say goodbye than to say hell below. Sure hope people will see blank pieces, paper, no longer empty. The muse said, I've lost his damn mind. I have lost control of who I knew was him. The muse said, who could I have recognized? A suicide for him to be remembered. The ego. Ego said, when are you gonna shut up? Muse said, no time soon. Musing down the street, he capes, missing steps. Like how this feels, sounds on once blank piece paper. What's this all around us? All I feel, see, touch, know are words. Poetic libretto, definition, words, pictures, no numbers, no titles, just 16 once blank pieces of paper. Just muse, poet. Just poet, muse. The muse said. Is he dead yet? His heart beating. Should be enough evidence that he is not. I am his muse. It's me who keeps saying he's not ready to die now. It's me who says I don't care what people think about him. It's me who says it's my time now, God damn it. Ego said, still talking, feeling, touching. When you gonna shut up? Muse said, I've already told you. No time soon.
Good read, Patrick. Patrick,
I
great
love it.
code read.
I
Thank
love it.
you.
I love it.
Good read. Thank you.
Oh man, I love it. I feel it. I feel it, Marvinlouis. I felt the spirit. And you know, Marvinlouis, I always see it. It's like you bring the hardcore and it's interlaced with humor, and it makes it such a joy to read.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got that humor. It keeps, as dark as or hard as it gets, you got that humor. It lifts the heart for sure. And
Yes.
the wisdom is interlaced with incomprehensible, inexpressible wisdom.
Yes.
Great read. But that was a cold read, Patrick, and great read. Thank you.
Hey, Marvinlouis, that makes my day. If I did it honor, that's all I could hope to do. And it was a pleasure to be a part of this. And I appreciate you trusting me with your work.
And you did. I thank you for being here. With
Oh,
all the
absolutely.
ones.
Wouldn't miss it for anything, for real.
Yeah.
It's Mark Fisher's turn.
Looks like I'm not on mute. Okay,
You're not on mute, sir.
good. Quiet desolation.
Just dwell on that photo a little bit. Oh, yeah.
Desert heat beating down out of a blue sky, cloudless and unrelenting, waiting for the monsoon rains to pour down upon the sun-seared sand. Am I doing all of them or?
Whatever you tell me to do.
Okay, we'll do this one. Rolling through. Another train comes rolling through Joshua trees and creosote through the great empty Mojave towards one coast or the other. Horn blaring loud past the crossings. Another train comes rolling through, slowing and grinding to a stop, cutting one side from another. Studying the car's graffiti, telling tales of distant places. Another train comes rolling through, traveling on to somewhere else. Past the sands of diamond deserts, with no ears to hear the music echoing off the rocks until another train comes rolling through. Let's skip the next couple. Go to
Did you say skip?
Skip
Skip.
to rock art.
There you go.
Rock art. Epic paintings hide in sacred spaces. Each one holds the shadow of a story, washed away by time into mere traces, acutely dimmed from their former glory. What words would have slid along the stone walls as paint traced out images onto stone of dreams or memories that must be scrawled to try to make sense of the world unknown, becoming meaning as they become myth, changing with each new teller of the tales, and new paintings cover those underneath until none can still recall what was veiled. We can only see the art upon rock, yet if there was a way for it to talk. All right. Kelso. I have stood on silent drum sands where lizards swim like fish and the sex lives of blister beetles roll on like endless waves. Where lizards swim like fish through these sandy dune seas, roll on like endless waves touched by unknown tides. Through these sandy dune seas, deserted and still forgotten, touched by unknown tides in distant human affairs. Deserted and still forgotten with the ghosts of many years in distant human affairs, remote and nameless. With the ghosts of many years and the sex lives of blister beetles, remote and nameless, I have stood on silent drum sands. Let's skip to This Death Valley. I think that's the next one. No, that's right. Let's try the next one. This Death Valley, yes. Oh, coyote, please tell me what you know, living with mesquite and with salt and sand, and remembering where waters still flow. What can you see in this not empty land? So much is hidden away from the sun, living with mesquite and with salt and sand. Shaded and sleeping, bright sunlight to shun, waiting and waiting until comes the night. So much is hidden away from the sun. Oh, coyote, stealthy through the campsite, seldom noticed and seldom ever seen, waiting and waiting until comes the night. Tiny belly flowers growing and green, back away from the roads, still living wild, seldom noticed and seldom ever seen. So deep in this desert, nearly exiled, oh coyote, please, tell me what you know. Back away from the roads, still living wild, and remembering the waters still flow. And I want to go to the next one. I think it's Enough. And that's Desert Bloom. Maybe the next one. Enough. It was small, a belly flower bloom, growing in desert sand unnoticed, except by perhaps a single bee. Okay, let's finish with the end of Zizek's Road. A herd of desert bighorn come out of the rocks looking for a drink. To each other, eke out their lives in the springs where the Mojave River ends at the end of Zizek's Road. Darkling beetles stroll the sands between the stands of rocks oblivious. while the nightly hunts of scorpions and snakes are lost in the darkness, till the sun comes up over the distant brown hills beyond the lake bed at the end of Isaac's Road. There is no simple answer to the mystery of the sign they see. Still cars in their thousands drive on by and think that the next time they will stop at the end of Isaac's Road. Okay. Do you want the next one too?
Hey, it's up to you. I'm not gonna tell you
Okay.
what to do.
Okay. All right. Odyssey. Quest across all the earth looking for home, never finding it until I stumbled hither, and where desert sun will wither all the dreams I had, like in a kiln, firing clay into bricks, upon which I will produce new dreams, like great pyramids standing high in the desert, unmoving, firm and inert, yet remain fragile, impermanent, like the stars trekking across the sky that still thwarts all my longing for eternity, for a place that will hold me, comfortable and be key, like what home I want, where everything remembers who I was. Okay.
CLS.
All right. Would you
Fine,
like
let's
me to
go.
read all of the pieces, though not all the poets are here?
It's up to you.
Okay.
You tell me what you want read.
All right. So I'm noticing now that I'm listening to the other librettos that we definitely broke some rules by including a
Uh-oh.
table of contents.
I was the first one to break the rules. My poems have titles, so don't
Yeah,
worry
Okay.
you
about it.
did, right? You did. And I
I'm a
hope
rebel, Daddy. I'm a loner.
So
you-
Marvin Lewis, I'm so sorry that we have not followed the instructions.
can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Mhm.
No, don't worry about it. I'm glad you're here.
Okay, thank you.
Do your thing.
Okay. All right, I'll read them then. The Woman in the Mirror. Every time I see a photo, I cringe at the image of myself. I'm not that youthful 20-something with a flowing scarf and slender legs. I had so many plans for that girl, that beautiful, fit young girl. I don't recognize the person that I grew up seeing, almost concave, flat stomach, thick hairline, full, wavy locks, arms toned and muscular, porcelain complexion. I never thought of what to do with this thicker, older version. Crow's feet, gray purple bags beneath the puffy lids that pillow my dark eyes, laugh lines fading, mouth corners hang heavy, emotional bruising and scrapes evident in my reflection, my youth prematurely weathered by threats of loss and grief. I pound the mirror until something breaks. I avoid my reflection as I pass, to cushion the initial shock and the tears that come to my eyes. I compare my new body, my used body, with the bodies of my past. Every new scar a marring of the original, every stretch mark as a reminder of what came before. Family reunion. Their eyes look at me, they recognize my face, even though I barely do. When I look at myself in the mirror, returning here to see family again unsettles me. My eyes dart back and forth, judging their expressions, hyper-vigilant in their presence. Have they noticed how my face has changed? Would they shame me for the weight I've gained? I suck in my stomach as far as I can, but my stomach will still protrude. I breathe in and out slowly, willing myself to calm. I return their gaze and smile. Sneakers. I do not see freedom or play. Grief seeps up from the crevices of my mind, like rainwater streaming along concrete streets at the sight of abandoned shoes, reminders of unspoken farewells. Perhaps they were lost, forgotten in a childish game, but my mind goes to dark memories, shaped by crises and left behind things made by those who tried to leave with unspoken farewells. Decades after BHMS. Pyramid School, we called it, matching the new high school built right next to it, a little over a decade after Bernardo Heights Middle School opened. I walked those halls cradling my wounds, worries, and aspirations. I performed 3 musicals, countless songs, and kissed most of the boys in my grade behind the choir room. I started my period, saw OJ get acquitted, and passed notes in the hall. I threatened to walk off campus, chewed gum, and ran an 8-minute mile on that field. My friend was busted for hiding the word sex on the yearbook cover design. My sister went to that high school years later. One day she forgot her lunch. I parked and walked to the office. The yard duty threatened me with a pink slip. Didn't believe I was now a college student. Now that's been years ago. I half expect to see my classmates and teachers still on that campus, but the faces are all new. Only the haunt of the place remains for me there. All the men I never wanted. The first time, he just wanted to see me naked, and he opened the door to the bathroom for just a peek. When I yelled at him, he grabbed me, pushed me down on the bed, climbed on top of me, and waited until I ceased to move beneath him. The second time, he just wanted to feel his penis against my ass. Even though I was sleeping, he pulled up my skirt and pushed himself into me until I woke up, and he feigned shame until I apologized. The third time, he just wanted a kiss. So he followed me into the elevator, threatened me, told me he was bigger, and pushed me against the wall, pulling up my skirt until the doors opened and I ran away. The fourth time, he just wanted to be friends, or so he said, since I was dating his best friend. We watched Titanic in the theater. He went home, then came over later, said he just wanted to talk, then decided he wanted skin against skin. I think I said no, but my voice was raw by then. The fifth time, he just wanted to see how many Long Islands I could chug. It was at least 3, and he walked me home like a gentleman, and then everything went cloudy. I don't remember, but my body does, and I awoke next to one of his buddies. My door was left open. The 6th time, he just wanted to prove he could. He was so much older, someone I could rely on. He heard I was easy, always told me that he believed I wasn't, then fed me shots of vodka all night. I awoke, but put together the evening before, bolted from his apartment, ended up at this police station. They talked me into a polygraph. I failed. He wasn't a rapist. I was a liar. The last time he wanted sex, I don't know if I realized I was blacked out. If he realized I was blacked out, he took what he wanted, cuddled next to me. I cried in the morning. He apologized. I let it go and got sober, got therapy. Believed it was all my fault until I learned how to know it wasn't. All these times, all these different men, and still, even if it were to happen again, I don't know how I would act or not act. I'd like to think I'd fight back, punch, yell, but sometimes I'm too shocked to move. The biopsy. Husband and baby in the waiting room, better that way, but I wanted to hear her gurgles and giggles, for him to hold my hand. Met by a warm greeting before I undressed, I laid down in the flimsy paper gown. I closed my eyes. The doctor inserted the transductor, like a large dildo, projecting my intrauterine ultrasound. She was searching for polyps. Your cervix is a bit off to the side. She angled the transductor under one ovary to under the other. I clenched my teeth, held my breath. I couldn't stop it. She dug around, pressing inside of me to find the polyp. My eyes flooded, then overflowed. The hellish instrument paused. I can stop if you want. I begged her to just finish. I thought about my baby. I would insist on being in the room, holding her hand if she needed a biopsy like this. The doctor held my uterus with a tentaculum, like forceps, since a polyp, sliced a polyp to send to the lab. Alone, I let myself sob for a moment, pulled on my jeans, went back to my daughter. Panic on the living room floor. Panic's billowing wave crashes into me. I swim against its powerful riptides, my muscles stretching and straining. I struggle to keep my head above water. I breathe in shallow gasps, fighting to move, to bring more life to my body. I collapse on the shores of reality, finding myself on the living room floor. I am learning to breathe again. I inhale the lavender lotion on my skin, run my hands along the shag carpet, so soft. I taste the salt of my tears, and I release the fear. Medically neglected. My doctor doesn't listen to me. My doctor doesn't hear. The exhaustion and fear in my voice. I recount my medical history, my explanation. She meets my concerns and stabbing pain in my lower abdomen with huffs and rolled eyes. Same test repeated, still undiagnosed. I hope she won't say it's in my head. My doctor diagnoses me with anxiety and tells me to lose some weight. I should probably switch to a new doctor, someone who listens, someone who understands. I didn't mean to be so obvious. Then there was a blank page before me to accept the boiling anxiety burning just below my thoughts. There were secrets on the outside of my head and passions surrounding my heart, sentences fractured, fragmented, and faded away with shards of nonsensical words and comma splices. Under the ripples of the stream, my fingertips caressed each smooth pebble, and I saw the sun rise behind the thickening haze above the weeping willow canopy. I held just tight enough so that I wouldn't forget. I could lose all I had gained at any moment. I tried just a little too hard for anyone to believe that I was capable of relaxing. Like borrowing the steam from someone else's shower, I let his kisses warm me from the inside out. Then a fresh set of teardrops overtook me and slid down my cheeks. I fell to my knees in desperation, unsure whether to laugh at myself or slit my wrists. Ode to my body. I should thank you for your health, how well you support me, the fact you aren't falling apart, your strength, how well you bounce back. Instead, I try to underfeed you, then overfeed you, expect you to shrink, give you no reason for expanding, no understanding for expanding, resent you for aging, as if you aren't doing exactly what you were meant to do. No rest for the martyr. I've stayed awake for countless days, diffusing loved ones who try to self-destruct, swimming out into raging seas to bring home drowners to safer shores. I have fought and I have warred, but I don't have battle scars to show at the end, evidence of all that I've suffered and endured, washed away by waves lapping at the sands. Weary and worn, I lay myself down. I breathe a breath I didn't know I held. My body never felt so heavy, giving way into a deep slumber. Briars blanket me, fending off reaching hands, so I may not be woken. A century or two of sleep will be my remedy. Alone under the moon. The silken moon shines bright tonight, and I'm alone underneath here in the same park where my mom scheduled play dates and I played with my friends. Here where I kissed my first boyfriend on the swings and we held hands. It's so different with the moon in the moon's glow. It's so different now that I'm older and alone. The swings creak in the wind. The shadow of the jungle gym looks like a mottled monster crawling toward an unsuspecting city. How easy it was to make friends, a play date scheduled every week. Mothers would chauffeur and chaperone. We'd eat ice cream in the hot sun. Now it's weeks without seeing anyone else outside of work. I'm alone. Weeks of solitude and the growing urge to scream pressing against my throat. Tonight the pressure sits there, silent, waiting, building, and I look up at the moon, up behind the palm trees, and let out a wail like the fizz of a balloon. The wail wheezes out of me, the pressure relieved as soon as I open my mouth. Control. My therapist says it's control that makes me anxious, or rather lack thereof. When I want to shout out contradictions to what others perceive of me, when I want to introduce myself with far too much backstory, when I want to be the one who puts away the dishes and the groceries and the laundry, when I want to take everything out of the closet and reorganize, when I write myself as the hero of all my stories in my head and on paper, I want to control. She says some of my coping is healthy and some isn't, so I make an inventory, a list of all that I can control and all I can't. We'll see how long until I try to conflate both columns. A strange voice. I found my voice in smothered screams and desperate pleas, swimming against baseless guilt and shame, lost in an ocean that was not my own. It echoed the rage and misery that bled within another's barren heart, of those who've sunken leagues deep beneath, overlooked and left alone in the darkened cave. It carved out words of comfort and promise, of hopeful futures to revive their dying dreams, to pierce against the dreams of the dying, a fight to survive, to be a wick for their candlelight. I found my voice, it returned home to my throat, but it forgot how to rest peacefully within my chest. Celebrating our birthdays together. I praise the wrinkles that build homes on our faces, of crow's feet that scrape the corners of our eyes, and the lines that frame our imperfect smiles like paintings, designed by our cheeks rising in the loud and gasping laughter. We count and compare our strands of gray that look like silver starlight against our dark hair, and the trace our stretch marks that tattoo our hips, gazing at the reflections without comments of rejection. We don our aging transformations like medals of honor, evidence that our body is alive and ever changing in time, celebrating every day as my loved ones come closer to 30, because some didn't believe they'd make it to see 20. So I praise the wrinkles that build homes on our faces. Still becoming. I court the new woman I've become. I buy her flowers, write sweet notes. I take her out to dinner in town. And the strolls on the countryside, I'm learning her like a rider learns their horse, so that they may become one.
Thank you, doctor.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for letting us break the rules.
Hey, that's up to Marvin there, you know.
I mean, thank you, Marvinlouis. I appreciate it.
Yeah, but like I said, I was the first rule breaker from the get-go. So
Yeah, but you know, the strength of this libretto, we break rules. That was a very strong libretto. Thank
Oh,
you.
Jeez, no
thank
kidding.
you. I appreciate it.
I've been trying to get Diosa here. I said it's time for the Poetic Libretto show, and she gave me a thumbs up. That's all I got.
I'm here.
Oh, there
Oh,
you
you're
go.
here. All right, I'm so glad you're here. You know,
I
you were here
I'm getting
because
home from work.
yeah, that's cool. That's cool because you know, we're screen sharing right now, so all I can see is a column with 5 people in it. And if there are
Oh,
more than 5 people here, then I have to scroll down the faces
got
to
it.
see all the faces. So I'm glad that the thumb worked. And here you are, and you're in time to read your poetic libretto. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay, let's go to A Fool's Paradise.
All right. A fool's paradise. Holler. Holler, dollar, no more squalor, buying dreams we can't devour, making green peeps turn to sour, weeds aplenty versus flowers, time to wash, get in the shower, halt the life consumeristic, being pro-materialistic, time to stop the modern sheeple, go and make the world a steeple, holler, stop the dollar dreamer, wake from slumber, kill the reaper, wake you silly dormant sleeper. Holler louder, wake the masses, time, dismantle human classes, fucking categorical molasses, pinches reglas made by asses. Holler louder, fuck you, dollar. Fuck the system, disempower. Set aflame today's the hour. Rise, my peeps, and feel your power. Kill the dollar, kill the greed, kill the ass who thinks he's Steve. No time left for make believe. Hear the message, please take heed. Holler, scream, today's the hour. Rise, my peeps, and feel your power.
God damn. That is good.
I want to love like Lewis and Gresham. I don't want the kind of husband with whom to sleep with through the night. I do not seek validation in times of celebration or on occasions of terrible fights. I want a lover who is willing to grasp my hand in that moment, my darkest hour. One who is willing to hold me during the last crumblings of my human tower. I want a husband who will let me live independently and all alone, and let me die in his loving arms when it is time for me to go home. Do you hear what I hear? The winds do call. What say they? Are you anchored? Are you rooted like the mighty redwood? If so, are those roots strong and vibrant and in good health? Or you will never know which way the winds will come. You will never know their true depth, be they red or blue or white or black. Are you ready for what they bring? Are you strong enough to hold firm? Flexible enough to bend, not break? Be at peace knowing you know enough to know you know nothing. Be at peace, knowing you are fully prepared for that which we can never expect. Il Paradiso, where all your dreams come true. Viene qui. Wake up, you silly rabbit. There is a reason dreams only come true in your sleep. In your waking state, you've got to work hard to make your needs, wants, and desires a reality. The poor raccoon. Dance of the arachnids. Walk like a spider, never linear, never steady-paced. Maybe it is more of a dance than a walk. We, the spiders and I, seem to move in a rhythmic sort of way. The more I observe, the more I realize it is a tango we tangle with. 2 steps forward, pause. 2 steps back, pause. Slide to the side, turn, hop, skip across the floor, slowly glide back in zigzag motion. The spiders and I, we love to tangle with the tango. Even assholes need allies. And no, not to ally for them, to call them out on their shit, to be a shoulder to lean and cry on when their ego takes a hit. An ally is a helper, the one who supports an ongoing struggle. Yet, an ally is not the one to make magic in the world of an asshole muggle. Everyone makes mistakes and deserves a second chance. But if the asshole refuses to change, they'll lose the ally's supportive stance. The asshole will ultimately suffer the loss of the only assistance left. And once deprived of that last support, his only friend will then be death. Because no one can forgive a second chance. And if they do, they'd better be ready to join that MF in hell.
Hey, I'm sorry, you guys. Can you go back and read that whole thing? The whole MF thing? Can we go down? Read the whole thing. That's what the libretto was about.
Okay.
Read the last line all together.
Okay. And if they do, they'd better be ready to join that motherfucker in hell.
Thank you.
Por tonta. Cuando más te quise, no estuviste. Y todo por mi maldito orgullo. Tú querías, pero yo no. Tú me amabas, pero yo no. Y ahora que me encuentro naufragando entre los recuerdos, como anhelo aquellos momentos, aquellas sonrisas, aquellas desveladas y ningún sentido, que se sentían como sueño hecho realidad. Sueños que nunca imaginé poder tener, sueños que nunca más tendré, por orgullo, no por miedo. Aunque nunca entendiste ese pavor del cual yo sufría silenciosamente y que nunca llegarás a entender. Lo que más temía ocurre precisamente cuando más te quiero, más me olvidas por tonta, por siempre.
I have a request. Don,
Yes.
do we have time for that one poem that she just read in English? Do we have time?
It's not a question of time, it's a question of, is the poem here?
Well,
So we're just going down to scroll, man, because I don't have editing capabilities.
I would like to hear it in English, though. That
Yeah,
one.
well, that's nice that you would like to hear that. But we're gonna have hot potatoes instead, okay, man? That's the way it goes.
Hot potatoes. In the past, I would have dropped them like hot potatoes. But now, I throw on a pair of pot holders. I pick them back up. I revisit. I observe. I learn. My, Adrianita, how you've grown. And I believe this is the last one. The definition of community. U is for universal, the place where we become one. N is for no, you are not alone, where ties are never undone. I is for interconnection, the web that we all weave. T is for togetherness, the support that we give and receive. Y is for you and I and every single human that breathes. The why we seek peace and freedom for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Diosa. I understand they're looking for a vice presidential candidate. Maybe you can throw your hat in the ring.
Well, thank you, Don.
That poem would be great in a speech. You know, I keep hearing the same
It would
speeches
be.
over and over. Yeah. All right. So I think, see, there's Dean's Nomad Whispers again.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't see
No,
it.
no, no. You don't need to apologize. All I have to do is get rid of one of them. And I guess I'm going to get rid of the newer one because we want to show historically that this poem is from 2023. Is that okay?
That is perfect.
Okay, good. And I think that's everybody. Marvin, if you want to say some last words about the poetic libretto. Everybody can unmute, of course, if you want to say last words anyway.
Well,
Oh,
is Dean going to be able to read his poem or not?
Dean read.
Oh, okay. So go.
I was slow to understand too. It's the same libretto.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
guys, everyone here, the libretto came up out of my muse once again. I didn't try to make up I wish I could be so creative that I could think of a libretto. And what the best thing is right now is that the second thing that came after creating the libretto from the muse was that I can get other poets to use the format to express themselves. And everyone here, I so appreciate that you guys have done that.
I'll make an observation, something that I've noticed now, hearing all these poetic librettos, that these photos are very good at cleansing the palette before the next poem. You notice that? Yeah, it's a
that's
really
good
nice
observation.
feature. Yeah. Collecting.
I'm just like I said, it was 2020 when the libretto started still format. And the only thing I wanted after I figured out what the libretto was with Don's help, I didn't know what the name it was. I didn't think to name it. Remember that, Don?
Yeah, it's hard for me to remember that far back, but I'll take your word for it.
I didn't think I had to name it. Don
Let's
came
see,
out
it's a
with the
small
idea.
booklet. I think I'll Google small booklet, see
No,
what
with a
comes up.
small booklet. Okay, so the word libretto is an Italian word for small booklet. And back in the day, the you would go to a play and they would give you a libretto.
I would think that was a cookie.
No. Hold
Oh.
on. They would give you a
You're thinking
libretto.
of a cordo.
They would give you a small booklet, and it would have either the text or the music of the play you were going to see. So what I did, I took out the music or the text of it, and I put my poems and pictures. That's where the poetic libretto started. And like I said, the next thing I wanted after I had it centered out, I wanted to see how many other poets would like doing the same thing.
Works for me.
Thank you.
I'm going to take a page from Jim here and say, the other thing that's pretty obvious, wonderfully obvious about these poetic librettos that everyone is writing is they're so individual,
Yes.
which is not a surprise, right? But it's just the beauty of the form that it can be so individual.
Right.
Are you guys agree with that?
Yeah, it lends itself to interpretation in infinite number of ways, as we have seen tonight.
So can I die now?
No. We
No.
need you to invent another thing too.
Well, you
Muse
seem to
said
be
you're not
fading,
done.
Marvin. Where'd he
Muse
go,
says
man?
you're not
Step
done.
closer.
Marvin, the muse is so powerful right now. We can't.
Can I
He's
die
like, I'm.
now?
He's invoked his
Muse is so-
invisibility
We don't even
powers.
see you anymore, Marvinlouis.
No, because here's the idea in my mind is that I won't get recognized for whatever I do poetically. So I write good poetry.
Said William Blake.
Like William Blake.
And Emily Dickinson.
Yeah.
Can I die now?
No, you have to invent something else.
No.
No, this is just the beginning, Marvinlouis. I want to go for a libretto now. I thought, I like what Jim said. There were infinite variations, and there was observational poems. There was poems self-related. So many different ways to approach it. There were massive poems, and then there were more elegant poems, and everybody had their own style. And I can't wait to give a try. I wanted to say something about what I noticed in terms of what I learned about it in the poem I read. How do I pronounce it, Don? Corporeal.
Corporeal.
Corporeal. And
this
what
world.
I learned, and I'm getting a more intimate sense of it, is that, as they say, to be Jungian and psychological, the ego perishes, the ego's identity, the ego's in time, but the muse protects us. The muse is the one that gives us this gift and protects us, I think. And it's easy to want to stamp a title, stamp a name on it, get recognition. But the real glory, the real inspiration, the real movement is that relationship with the muse. So like, I can't wait to always try to align with that and lose my, as the, in the words of the great Eminem, lose myself in that experience. And I really, to differing degrees, experience that with everyone's librettos. But to me, this is just the beginning. I'm going to give it a try. Don, can we do this? And Marvinlouis, can we do this again where, like, annually, or where we all publish librettos again?
Well, we have a contest going now. And you can create one and get it in by October 1st. And then sometime in October, we're going to do another reading to select the winner.
Good to know. October 1st gives me plenty of time to give it a shot. And now I know some of the rules, so many great examples. And I want to just thank everyone for including me and being a part of this. It was joyful to hear everybody give the libretto a shot, and it's beautiful poetry on so many levels.
And
Strong, beautiful poetry.
let me say this. For the contest coming up, the word contest kind of has a sour taste in my mouth.
Well, they got the word con. You get those hyphens in there. They got the word con and test. It's just it's a con. Like they ain't even about the contest. I just want to feel the muse at its best.
And that would mean a contest ant is an insect.
We can contest it all. Like
can we do
not winning for me? Like just one channel, the spirit.
Hey, why don't we do this? Everyone here, just write a new libretto. No contest. Just write a libretto. And then we'll try and spread the word. And anyone that was to come out, there's no contest. You know what? Poetry, there's no way anyone can tell me that I express myself better than the next guy. We express ourselves the way we do.
Well, we live in a society where there are actual professional cornhole leagues. You know that game, cornhole? You toss the
Never
beanbags
played
onto
it,
this
but I've heard
board.
of it. Yeah.
Look
You
up
toss
the
beanbags,
American Cornhole League and the American Cornhole Association.
Sounds like a Southern thing.
And the American Cornhole Organization. Swear to God, it's true.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You know what? The idea to do the contest was I'm trying to get the muse or whatever is trying to get other people involved in the libretto. But make it a contest, now that I've seen how all of you make great librettos, there's no way I want to try and say that Dean's libretto was better than Jim's or Jim's was better than that. Hey, why don't we do this? Let's make some librettos, and in October, we have a scene where we come out and read librettos. No contest.
Oh, so I should take that word off the website then?
No, right now I'm talking to these guys. What do you guys think?
Fine with me. Looks good.
You like a contest?
Although no contest in court means you're guilty.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the one to say that this person's libretto was better than that person's.
Man, you whistled a different tune last year, man, when we were judging these. Oh my God.
Okay, we do what we do. We have a contest for the best libretto in October.
As judged by its inventor.
No. But I do want to say it's getting late. It's 8:59.
Yeah, we got to wrap it up, man.
Yeah, so I want to say, like, again, thank you all.
Thank you.
For deciding to do the libretto, and now it's on Don.
And for those of you who watched to the end, remember Poetic Librettos, that's plural, poeticlibrettos.blogspot.com if you'd like to read these librettos and new librettos coming in. Thank you for being with us, everyone. Good night.
See you.